Alright, boys and girls, I can see a few people leaving. It's a good way to start a set, isn't it, with half the room leaving. Let's get out. You call it leaving, I call it a niche audience. Don't worry about it. Alright, my name is Lloyd, and I'm here to remind you you're all going to die. I'm going to run through my poems as quickly as I fucking can, because we all want to go home. Alright, this is a poem about drinking too much. Southern barmen soaking bars, drunken Germans drinking hard. Every alcoholic got their ends, I can't throw down, so I put again. Here's a poem about drinking whiskey. A brown-haired girl lets her fist curl in a pub in the West End. I can't drink whiskey without losing a friend. She calls me a cunt, I let out a grunt. I try not to offend, but I can't drink whiskey without losing a friend. I order out non-alcoholic drink, but discover they fucking stink. We can try to make amends, but I prefer whiskey for most of my friends. Here's a sort of slower poem about fancying someone. In a dark bar late at night, Sinatra sighs himself to sleep. One more glass of red wine, and Sinatra is poured the roll.
Yeah, carry on for me, just like after.
It's alright, isn't it? You know, I can breathe. Love me.
It wasn't that first.
Going to die.
Here's a poem about vegetarianism. I see a man on his way home tearing flesh from bone, chickens living without breath, and now at night I smells like death. I wish I had wings, so I could fly off with my own wings. No one let him touch their breasts, and now at night I smells like death. So I don't know, is anyone here from London? Yeah, the normal people, isn't it? People keep telling me, I come over Brighton, they go, where are you from? And they go, I'm from this place. I go, it's not London, is it? What are they up to? Anyway, this is a poem about getting the last Northern line home. Closing time at the world's end.
You didn't get my...
The world has ended and London has struck its last bell. But I am safe from the coming hell. With a gust of wind and a stale smell, this empty underground knows my home so well. So I'm going to do a few. This is a slightly more depressing one. This is actually, although they are on 3 pieces of paper, these are one poem. I used to go out with a girl who had bipolar. So here's a poem about manic depression. Hope you'll enjoy it. Seduced by an open grave, by pharmaceutical nightmares meant to save, even you at last have turned. Vulgar romance, its memories blurred. The night is cold as it waits, her skin tenses, then it breaks. Blood on dead skin stains and runs crimson down the wall. It crawls from her dying veins to the crib that started it all. Cherish the bottle and the risque glitz. She's the rebel of all that is. Well, you know, you're wrong with Brighton now, I think. I don't know if founder is technically Brighton, but anyway. Have you noticed how everyone's got a better beard than me, in particular? So here's a poem about everyone's better beard and mine, shit beard. Beyond his years, that was Will's beard. Then Jake, that dick, his beard reflected his personality, fucking thick. This is called A Love Letter to Nigel Farage. I read their darkest fears about the Union Jack, about the Euro-socialist Helen Rivers Black, Clement Attlee's treacherous acts, Hollywood money, calm down Mac. I've been told we're a nation in fucking debt, but I still can't see how Britain is under threat. I've read the Daily Mail's wall of shame about a single mother's welfare claim. The 5 pillars of Islam are all designed to do us harm. They're going to take away our cigarettes, but I still can't see how Brighton is under threat. Nigel Farage screams my name, tells me we're all to bloody blame. The immigrants stab away at English culture day by day. I've been told to fear the suffragettes, but I still can't see how Britain is under threat. This is a 4-line poem. It's a political one. It's an ode to Les Miserables. The unions are broken, the barracks turn us away, but you cannot stand alone on an abandoned barricade. This is the shortest poem in the world. It's called Reflections on an EDL March in Brighton. I don't know if you guys are all here. I can't reach my beer without leaving the mic. About 2 years ago when the EDL marched in Brighton, like, what a bunch of fucking cunts, but this is about them, and the rant is longer than the poem. In the streets, bastards run, fascists, everyone. I'm going to stick to the political theme for 2 more poems, then I'm going to talk about how we're all going to die, and I'm going to do some poems that are all going to be in love, and then I don't really know where I go, to be honest, I've lost track. This is about a right-wing wanker who I really don't like. You are a right-wing cunt. Your vicious solutions are verbal pollutions. You read from newspapers with breasts at the centre, next to the latest update on the hunt for sex offenders. You pull your lips back and say, look, I'm a black, but there's only one word for you, twat. So, is anyone here a reader of the Argus newspaper? You have to fucking, Jesus Christ! Argus! Cheers, Rory! Interesting fact about the Argus is the readership is the fastest declining newspaper, local newspaper in the country. It's gone from having 80,000 readers to me. Anyway, they ran an article recently called The London Road is going to be the new Shoreditch. And here's a brand new poem about the gentrification of nice places. Here comes the middle class voyeur in a one-woman war against the poor, great gentrification girl, great grandeur. She feeds me a poisoned macaroon, by killing me she gets my room. Gentrification cleans out the gloom. A new artisan pub on the London road sends my landlord into overload. Now that higher rents are in vogue, an old town is undone as the council rebuilds Babylon, waiting for gentrification girl to come. She is the product of a Tory nation, poor town starving, suspended animation. Here comes Little Miss Gentrification. Here's another, I'm going to do 2 love poems now. We've gone into the love poem section of the evening. I hope you're ready for it. So this is the first poem I ever wrote. And they're both about fish. So this is the first one about fish, and the second one is also about fish in the same theme. Of all the fishes in the sea, let one be you, and let one be me. It's a love letter to everyone I've ever lived with in my time in Brighton. When my heart is filled with malice, it is emptied by 2 girls called Alice. When I feel like hope is lost, I can find it at home with Roz. When I'm ashamed to be a man, I'll kill the patriarchy with Megan Von Ram. When I can feel quite contrary, I find it's best to talk to Kerry. When the earth is destroyed by atom bombs, I'll still be drinking tea with Tom. And when I don't understand the menstrual cycle, it's okay, because nor does Michael. When a night needs good memories, I'll spend my time with Emily. And when I'd go to 100 awkward gatherings, I'd still get to talk to Catherine, but when I get to talk to Jess and Joe, I have to say no. I do not want you to go. Thank you. We're skipping this one. So this is another poem about Brighton. Those 2 poems were about Brighton. This is about Brighton being, people make a city, and this is about Brighton not being quite as good anymore. In late night bars, this town was ours. In the cold sea air, I see you there. We built a life I want to finish. but I don't like Brighton without you in it. That always gets that reaction, I like it. Alright, this is about photographs, and you know when you go on the internet and you see a photograph of someone and you go, oh,
that's forcing people to do less trembling.
I can't hear myself read. A picture of you and me from back in time by the sea, photographed me back to that blue sky. A picture today made me want to die. This is my best poem, it's not by me. Together this city was ours. We strolled through streets and lazed in Queen's Park, shared friends, shared drinks, shared beds. We played couple and house, morphed into one voice, one mind, one heart, one city. That dream shattered with unaltered behaviour and unreciprocated favours. And now I'm expected to call you neighbour. I shrank and retreated, drew up these lines, split possessions, split friends, split hearts, split city. But tonight, Doc Martens, leather jacket, poetry slamming, waves lapping, stars dismantling. I walk on these stones. Tonight, this city is mine. All my poems there were shit. This is about doing too many drugs with my best mate Lily Holden, otherwise the joke doesn't make any sense. The mind control noose is sitting on your shoulder. That's what happens when you let loose with Lily fucking Holden. So I did a poetry night a couple of weeks ago, and Karen, who runs Shine So Hard, which is a brilliant night on bi-monthly at the Quadrant, which you should all go to. All the Shoreham poets go to that as well. Whee! Anyway, she told me that everyone has a football poem in them, and as how I don't like football, I decided to write my football poem. Here is my football poem about being a Chelsea fan. A collective moan of Punch Chelsea fans echoes through time. And with one pat on my back from my father, it is 1996 again, and I'm sitting on his shoulders, content with a world that is just you, me, and football. Thank you. So that was a poem about my dad, obviously, watching football with my dad. This is a poem about my family not liking me. I hope you enjoy it. At a summer wedding, a history passes in a parable of dreams. My image is nowhere to be seen among the faces of the family that was denied to me. English cider meets French fraternity. Billy says that I'm a victim of geography, drinking with the family that was denied to me. On the edge of the great Atlantic Sea, I asked Dominic how long's it been since I last sat among the family that was denied to me. Here's my big Irish nationalist poem. So you may be watching this set and going, this is all very well and good, but why is his head so big? And that is because, obviously, I'm Irish immigrant stock. So this is about, I don't know if you all saw the news story recently. Well, we had the Irish Revolution in the 20s, and then suddenly you got rid of the English, you're all cunts. But then you've still got the Catholic Church, and this is about the problem of having the Catholic Church still. And as you might notice, the first few lines are not written by me. But Jesus called unto him and said, Suffer little children to come unto me, and forbid them to knock, for such is the kingdom of God. The English left, our church remained, and for the 693 little children of Tum, the path from cradle to grave of De Valera's Nua Aaron was nothing more than a septic tank at the end of a lonely famine road. I like punk music, and I sort of missed the generation for it, really. You know, this is about how all my favourite punk artists are dead. And suddenly I get the urge to listen to X-Ray Specs, and I remember that all my favourite punks are dead, and I'll never hear Joe preaching, or share a cigarette with Harry Up. I'll never arrive in time to talk Ian down, and my boots will never soak up the blood on the dance hall floor, and it'll never be 1977 again. He said patience is a virtue, and let his hands fall. I said only doctors have patience and keep them in the balls. So I've only got 3 more left. I'm going to do one slightly longer one, which is really dark. It's quite a difficult one for me to do, really. It's about 2 women I've had, very close relationships with. One being sort of ex-partner, and one being my mother. So just a trigger warning. It's about rape. So, She told me in a French bar in a medieval town about 3 bad monks in a bad French house. I tell her she's a poet too, and I've no right to be right about you. She told me about a man with no name, how sometimes she thinks she is to blame. She tells me she is damaged goods. Comfort her, if only I could. I tell her she's a poet too, and I've got no right to be right about you. What kind of man makes a girl afraid? These are the days when hashtag all men should feel ashamed. Then I tell her she's a poet too, and I've no right to be right about you. After a glass of wine, to my surprise, mother tells me about father's friends and how he thought one night would end. Mum, you're a poet too, and I've no right to be right about you. It is women who build good men, and I hope for the sake of my mother, lover, and good human brothers that when I leave this world, I leave it untouched. Because I want to be, because I want to be, because I want to be, because I want to be more than my cock. Alright, I've got 2 more to do. So I have a little habit, me and Alex over here. We go to house parties, we knit something, we take it to the next house party, and we leave it there. And then we take something from their house. So you live your life going, whose vase is this? Oh fuck, where's my kettle? Anyway, this is a poem about this. I love your hopes, I love your dreams, I'm a kleptomaniac, fuck it, gifts from my lover, they're in my pocket, show you forgot it, I'm a kleptomaniac, fuck it. I love your bath plug, take your flower pot, the one you let rot, I'm a kleptomaniac, fuck it. Your extended DVD box set, all the books you never read, they are my daily bread, I'm a kleptomaniac, fuck it. Here's a poem. This is my sing-along poem. So I'm going to ask you all to join in on the very last line. I believe in you. If you don't want to join in on the very last line, you don't have to. Maybe look like a wanker, I can handle that.
Yes. No.
So this is about the gig at the fish bowl. This is about you.
Alex, I'm coming for you. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Good apology, isn't it? Fucking hell. You did a set. After this set? Fuck, Jesus Christ. Sorry. I'm not. I'm just trying. This is about a gig I did at the Fish Bowl a couple of weeks ago, and this girl put it up. She did a song, her name is Cat Sinclair, and I fell in love for a moment with Cat Sinclair. This is my poem about Cat Sinclair. Just like an lost dramatic flair, I fell in love with Cat Sinclair. I was so depressed I shaved my hair, then I fell in love with Cat Sinclair. I was pulled from my despair, I've met a girl called Cat Sinclair. I wanted to become a billionaire, then I fell in love with Cat Sinclair. That was my commitment to laissez-faire. I've been brought back by Cat Sinclair. I left these cities to become an au pair, then I met a girl called Cat Sinclair. Now I'm spending time in leisure wear, because fuck me. Thank you very much.